Welcome, everybody. It's the video class 5. Okay, Carol, I got a question for you. You're a little bit more advanced than the rest of us here. Been doing this longer. So, do you see the video that's playing on the page? Carol, were you?
We see you, Don.
Yeah, well, we should see, but I'm not hearing Carol. She may have stepped away for a second.
Yeah, she doesn't show as muted, so.
No. Well, how you doing, James?
I'm doing okay. Struggling with the class, but doing okay. So I'm not making a whole lot of forward progress as far as getting videos done, but I'm glad I took the class because it got me going anyway.
Well, I've seen some of the still stuff that you're doing. Is that strobe?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I excuse me. Tried to use my modeling lights. The color balance is just way off.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that at least for what the gear that I have now and what I can do, I basically got to shoot with the phone, and not try and use the DSLR because, unless you're just going to stick it on a tripod, point it at something, and then make that something you pointed at move, it's just not working for me.
I think I've come to kind of a similar thing. I did some bunch of B-roll footage of my motorcycle for something I want to do this coming weekend, and I did it on my 60D. Did it on my 60D, so I had the manual focus and the whole thing. And the little clips turned out pretty cool because that you can kind of squeeze it into focus. So you get that little sort of hesitation of focus, and with that 50 millimeter 1.8, and it was late in the day lighting, I really got some really shallow depth of field kind of things. That was kind of fun. But bottom line, when I tried to do anything else with it without a real good gimbal, it's just either on a tripod or bouncing around.
Yeah.
And the bouncing around, I can't handle. And the 60D doesn't do slow motion. So I can't even sort of cheat it a little bit with slow motion. And I thought, screw it. I'm just going to stick with the iPhone for now. I've got a gimbal for the iPhone. I got a mic for the iPhone. I've got all those things. I'm just going to stick with it and slowly build up the video arsenal to the point where I have, I don't need an expensive gimbal, but I need something to hold it a little bit steady when I'm, doing any kind of motion. I just hate it when it bounces around. And I've got a good mic, and I want to get one of those little sliders, little rails or something,
Yeah.
The thing that drops down on the back so you can put your eye up to the camera and see the LCD.
Yeah, is a Zacuto is one that makes them. There's others, but
yeah, to try to focus on that screen with my eyes.
Oh, I know, it's horrible.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I saw the screens that go up on top of the camera, the 5x7s.
Those would be the best.
Those are really great, but they're really expensive.
Yep. Everything about video is, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I've reached the conclusion with, sticking with the camera for now.
And if you want to get limited, if you want to get shallow depth of field, you can actually buy a couple of lenses for about $150.
Yeah, for the iPhone.
Yep, for the iPhone. They clip on. Machel uses them. They look great.
I'm shooting with Samsung right now.
Yep.
So I'm going to wait and see what Samsung does with their next release, the G9 they're coming out with. They're supposedly, and of course it's rumors, but they're supposedly going to be having up to like 1,000 frames per second for slow-mo. And they're going to go to the 2-camera system, or 2 lenses instead of 1, 2 cameras really. So we'll see what they do. If they don't step up the game, then I think I'll probably trade that in and bite the bullet for the iPhone 10.
Ooh, that's a big bullet to bite there, James.
It is. It is.
I don't know. I really, honest to God, don't know if I could do $1,500 for a phone.
Well, it's about 13 if you get the 256. It's not 15, but it's pricey.
That is
But if,
definitely pricey.
if you look at the 8 by the time you get the 256 is almost 1,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's insane what they want for them now. But they're really not just phones. They're computers. You know.
Well, they really are. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I find myself on my phone more than on my computer on the weekends.
Yeah.
My business runs on my phone, not on my desktop. My business is on my phone, so it is attached to the hip. Let's see if Carol got back. Carol, are you there? Carol? Oh, she's gone. Oh no, Carol, are you there? I'm not hearing you, Carol. If you're there, darn it. What I was going to ask, and we'll find out if you guys have run up against this yet. You see this video here at the top of the screen of our new page?
Yeah.
Right.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's 4 megabytes, guys. Okay. How did that get to be 4 megabytes? When this bad boy is like 16 megabytes. I don't understand the encoding process. I've spent 4 days this week, different times during the day, looking it up, and I can't find a straight answer.
Yeah, I know. That's
just
one of.
can't find anyone who will say, well, if you wanted to do this, use this and this. And then when you get into Premiere and you hit that drop down, there's about 11,000 of them.
Yep.
I don't get it.
One difference between those two, Don, is that that one with the waterfall, the entire image is changing, whereas the one with the girl, most of the image is not changing at all. So compression could be more effective on that one.
I realize that. Plus, green is a color hogger. It's a pixel hogger. So I get that, but man, that's 16, 17 megabytes different. That's just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that it's entirely that the whole picture is moving. I mean, I've been shooting with my phone and also this little pocket cinema camera that I have, and my iPhone. I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours of video that I've recorded on that thing, and I still have plenty of space left. But
Joy,
cinema camera.
I use my iPhone 7, right?
iPhone
I
7
do a
Plus.
10-minute video. I'm sorry, iPhone 6S. I do a 10-minute video on the iPhone 6S. I move it over to iMovie on the desktop. I edit it in iMovie, and I export it to YouTube. And you know how big it is? Guess. 1.3 gigabytes.
Holy cow.
Well, so yeah, I don't know. I probably have to do some comparison, but on this, the pocket cinema camera that I have, it's only 1080p. It's not even shooting at 4K, and I mean it'll fill up an entire 64 gigs of video, or 64 gig card in 30 minutes of video.
Yes, because that file is so much deeper than the iPhone video. But it's interesting because when the iPhone video comes over, it's like 10 minutes is like, I want to say 220 megabytes.
Yeah.
And after it goes into iMovie, and then when I export, it says export for YouTube. I export for YouTube 1.2 to 1.4 gigabytes. I don't know where that comes from. I can't for the life of me figure it out. Oh well. If Carol comes back, we'll see what she can offer.
Which scissors? The big ones? Там стоят должны. Я вчера там виделась.
Hello?
They aren't there. I didn't do anything with them, and Papa can't find them. Папа, наверное, брал, потому что он разрезал пакет сегодня. Кое-что смотрел, посмотри, там, где его телефон лежит.
I thought you had a video playing.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over next week's assignment because I don't want everybody to freak out. What I want to do is I want all of us to concentrate on making a multi-part little film. We made a multi-unit film this time. We put our audio and all that stuff together. But I want us to really think about doing a shot. So next week's video is not due next week. All I want to see next week are some of the parts. Okay? So it's a 2-minute to 2.5-minute film with B-roll, A-roll, audio, music, and ambient audio clips, which is something I did with my camera. I went out and did motorcycle starting up, motorcycle idling, motorcycle going by, the camera on a tripod, to get that, those audio sounds. I just did it on video because it's the only thing I have. And if I'm using the same mic, my feeling is it's going to all kind of go together. And then what you do is you dump the video clip and you just have the audio clip. But if we get to this milestone here, we will have produced a pretty nicely done video. The only thing we're not doing in this class is drone. And after watching a bunch of video last week preparing for this particular process here, I thought, I may have to get one of those. Joey, do you have a drone?
No, I don't.
Paul has a drone, don't you? I think Paul Campbell has one. Paul?
No, I don't have a drone.
Oh, okay.
I know that they're practically mandatory nowadays. People use drones because they have them, basically. So just about every video you see has got drone footage in it.
Well, they work really well for setting the scene. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They work so well for setting the scene, and they're very cinematic because you can't watch a movie today that doesn't have aerial footage or some sort of drone footage. Have you seen the cable that you can run and a little electric car with your camera sits on it and it'll follow the cable? So you can actually do a video where the video goes through a car, maybe two people sitting in the back seat. You can run the cable through the front seat, out the door, and your camera will go right through the car. You kind of go, wait a minute, how'd they do that? Well, they're using this cable. It's really cool. But for setting the scene, I was just watching one of Peter's newest video he put up about being in Iceland. And I went, wow, those are really, really cool transitions. Really cool transitions. We're not going to worry about that. That's down the road. But the other thing that works well for transitions is, time lapse and slow motion works really well. In this particular upcoming video, I want us to think in clips of 8 to 10 seconds max. Max, other than your A-roll. So if you're doing an interview on an A-roll and it's going to be 4 minutes long, do it 4 minutes. It doesn't matter because you're laying down that audio track, and then you can put B-roll over it. But let's think of 8 to 10 seconds max because we're still seeing long clips, 15, 20, 30-second clips, and I want to move it along because that looks like old video and we're shooting new video, and lots of 1 and 2 second clips too.
Yeah, a technique that I've seen a lot of guys use and I really like is I'm pretty sure they're using stills and just pop about 10 or 12 little flashes of stills, and then they go to a real short clip, and I like that effect.
Yeah, put the still in at
Cool.
1600 pixels. You're doing 1080, right?
Yeah.
So you put it at 1600, you can actually move across the still.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, even if they're like half second long, you can still have some motion in them.
So anyway, my biggest issue is, well, I won't say biggest, but one of the things I'm just haven't got yet is learning Premiere Pro and everything involved in that. It's basically, you know, the biggest challenge I've faced in this class is trying to learn the gear, learn the terms, learn how to use it, learn the moves. I mean, it's such a different world than, you know,
It is.
where I've been living.
And that's why I'm trying to go slow with this, adding 1 or 2 things a week. So if everybody's kept up and done it, we should be there. We're basically assembling clips, slipping audio under, which we've already done, but now we're going to think it through for 2 different locations. So if you're going to do an interview maybe that's in a studio or next to a bright window or somewhere like that, and then B-roll is somewhere else. So you really got to think it out. Whether you storyboard it or shot list it, that's fine. Got to incorporate some ambient sounds, which is just like adding music. You know, you can fade it up and fade it out, that type of thing. But with some ambient sounds that work out pretty well. I put on here some of the things that I think I have to ask myself. This little list. You know, we are good photographers. Everybody in this class is a good photographer, no doubt about it. So we do this with stills, but I find that we don't do it with video. We don't really look at that video like we're looking through the still camera. It's almost we have this great reverence for the still image, but we don't have that for the video. It's just kind of, you know, off here and off there. What is the subject? Where are they in the frame? Why are they in that part of the frame? You know, I was looking at some videos today, both from the class and and on YouTube. And some of the times, why is that person there? Because I can see stuff in the background that shouldn't be there. So why did you put your person there? The other what is in the background? Backgrounds matter in video just as much as they matter in stills. As a matter of fact, I think they matter even more, especially if they're moving.
Yeah.
Something going crazy in the background and you're trying to shoot somebody up front, that's pretty tough. We have to make video that looks better than the news people do, right? We're not spot news, folks. We're not throwing up a camera on our shoulder and, you know, doing a sweep of the road and then locking onto some talking head. Why did we choose the background that we have? And does the background do anything for our subject? Does it present a dark area for our subject to work against? And if you want to see some amazing lighting, check out Special Victims Unit on television. One of the best lit shows I've ever seen, probably because those people have been working together now for 70 years or something. I don't know how many. I mean, it's been on a long time. But man, the face will be lit. Right behind that, there's a shadow from something over there. There's a shadow coming back. And as it goes to the dark side of the face over there's some light from a lamp that's lighted. It's just incredible what they do. And these people are moving. Now, we're not making movies or TV, but we can learn a lot. What's the subject doing? Are they looking down a lot? Are they looking sideways and it looks like we haven't figured out what they want to look at? What's the gesture, the demeanor of the subject? What is the light doing as they move through or it lands on them? There's so many videos I see where the person goes from here over to here and all of a sudden this side of their face just flashes because they just moved into the light. That's take 2, folks. That didn't work, right? Video is very picky about that stuff. You got to cut it down. You got to knock it down. So when they go from here and they go through this key light over here, it doesn't just blast. It can't. Do the colors look good and will the clip seamlessly fall into another clip? Or do we need a transition? Sometimes we we have two clips that have to go together. That's where they're going to go. But it's such a jerk if we do a quick cut, a clean cut. It's such a jerk. So maybe we put a little slow motion in there, to make it. Or maybe we do a fade and all that stuff. There's just 100 things that we can do that'll make that work. But if we're planning it, and this one leading to the next film is all about us, me too, planning this video, planning the shots, planning the light, the transitions, the ambient sounds, all of those things, and really, really get all the stuff we can to work together. Each week, I imagine you guys are hitting YouTube and lynda.com, etc., to find out how to do this next thing that we have to do. That's what we all do. We couldn't do in an hour a week, guys. We couldn't sit here and teach everybody how to use 3 different or 4 different editing tools and all that stuff. We're just taking it bite by bite. As soon as you get the assignment, hit YouTube. How do I put ambient sounds into my video clip? There's probably 10 of them or double that on YouTube that'll tell you how to do it in Premiere, and you can do it in iMovie. You can do it in Hit Film. You can do it in all the different ones. You can put that ambient in. Whichever one you're learning, that's the little thing you've got to learn this week. Everything else we've done. We just haven't planned a bigger sort of expanse. So you've got 2 weeks essentially to shoot it. But hopefully next week, when we come next week on this thing, Monday night, we're going to see some clips. We're going to hear some ambient audio. And the way we're going to do it is just put it all into a folder that you know where it is. And I'm just going to turn the screen over to you. And you're going to play some of your clips and tell us how you got the ambient, etc. So questions on that?
You're going to turn the screen over to us?
Yeah.
Okay. So herding cats, Don. Herding cats.
No, it's pretty easy with this one. With
Okay.
this one, it's pretty easy with this one. I just basically make you the presenter, and you've got your folder open, and you hit share screen, and then you play a couple clips for us.
Okay, so it just shares your screen totally then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, whatever folder you have, just
Right.
open that folder up on the desk, and then you share that folder on your screen with us. We're not going to see, like with you guys right now, you're not seeing all the other stuff I have on my desktop. You're only seeing
Right.
Chrome. Right. That's way better than the other one. The other one showed you everything, the whole screen, which was terrible. How many of you have watched this video, The Woman Who Climbed the 7 Mountains?
I have not.
You have not?
No.
Okay.
I did.
Who's I?
Carol. I
Carol.
watched it.
What'd you think?
Oh, amazing. And it always it always surprises me how much you can get done on a phone.
Mm-hmm. No, they did have those lenses I was saying.
Yeah.
I think they're called Moment, is the brand, Moment lenses.
Yeah, I watched the first part of it. I didn't have time to finish it. I had to go to work.
Did you
but-
notice the use of slow motion?
Yeah.
Lots of slow motion.
Yeah. I know slow motion on because I have the iPhone 6S, and the slow motion on that is spectacular.
Yep.
Way better than anything I can get out of my DSLR.
Yep.
But it's really funny because I don't use my phone very often for this stuff. Sometimes I have it, set for a B-roll camera kind of thing, just in case I miss something somewhere else. But I find, and this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but I find trying to hold it and deal with it and keep my fingers out of the lens and all, I hate it. I think a DSLR is like 1,000 times easier.
I can't hold the phone in my hand and make it.
No.
So I use a little device that holds my phone and my microphone, and it sits on the top of a tripod, a little short Me Photo tripod. and I can just hold that tripod with, one hand, and, it's actually pretty steady. It's not a steady cam by any reach of the imagination, but it's pretty decent, way better than holding it here. This is terrible. And so, yeah, any kind of something to hold the phone, and that company Moment, they make, I think, one of the coolest Moment cage or iPhones. Of course, it works on any phone. Coolest little thing I've seen in a long time. iPhone video.
I have 3 of their lenses, and they're really good.
They really are good. Is it this one, the Beast Grip? Yeah, you see it here? It looks like, that's a pretty cool rig. It holds your phone in there. You can put your lenses on the front, the Moment lenses on the front, all of that stuff. Here's where your phone goes. And then when you hold it, you're with 2 hands, and your hands free from the phone. So you don't have to push the button, Carol. There's another thing that does it for you. And it's not expensive at all.
I don't think that's Moment, but
I don't know if this is Moment. This is very similar to Moment, though, the Beast Grip. Yeah, here's the wide angle and the fisheye for $200 with the grip. DOF, I don't know what this is. Depth of field adapter. I don't have a clue what that is. But they have some pretty nice stuff that is not terribly expensive. This is kind of what it looks like. This is what Machel uses, and he gets some absolutely, I keep saying, are you on a gimbal? He says, no, that's it. And he holds it out in front of him, locks his elbows to his chest, and then he just moves his whole body. And it works so well. I was looking at like gimbals for DSLRs, and those things are a grand.
Yeah.
There's, they have them cheaper, but they've got like 2 stars. That scares me. I don't do 2-star anything.
No, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. If that many people have paid for it and had that little, confidence in it, then there's a lesson to be learned there. All right. Well, we do have some folks with some videos. Who do we have?
I have a video.
Is it up on the Facebook page?
Nope.
Oh.
Where'd you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, paste it up on the Facebook page so we can click and see it.
Okay.
Did you guys watch the Chris Burkhardt film I put up here?
No.
Not yet, but I will.
That's why I put him up here, guys.
I know. I just got home, Don.
I know, but this has been up here since November 4th.
Well, I haven't looked.
Okay. All right.
Been busy.
Yeah, Burkhardt, this is his promo video. Pretty nice. And on the page this week, we actually have a young man's promo video down here, a lifestyle photographer, adventure lifestyle. And very simply done, really simply done, but really it's a nice little video. If you were an art director or a possible client, I think you'd get a kick out of it. It's got his personality, plus his work ethic, why he lives in a van and travels from place to place to do that stuff. This one has the coolest opening I've seen in a long time. Let's see if we can get it to play without being jerky. It's just this face with these calipers.
Find that you have to be a bit mad to become a stone carver.
And then what she ends up doing is carving her face out of a rock. It's very well done. Again, nothing we couldn't do. There's nothing in these 4 videos that we couldn't do. Would a gimbal help? Yeah. Is it necessary? Probably not. And none of these do we need fancy gear. This one where this guy goes out into the wilderness and stacks rocks up. Check out the ambient sounds that they have. When the rocks crash, it's in slow motion, but they have an ambient sound of the rocks hitting the water and all that stuff. The ambient sounds collected are just as important as the video. This dog helps endangered parrots. I mean, and who doesn't have a dog that does that? Come on.
My dog
really,
might chase him, but
yeah, but really cool stuff. But this one takes the cake. Again, the reason I put this one up, it was done on the simplest of tools, an iPhone 6. I believe it's a 6 or a 6S. It was done on the simplest of tools, and everything is here, from slow motion, ambient sound.
So I got a question for you.
Quick cuts.
Ambient.
Yeah.
You were talking about the guy doing it in slow-mo when the rocks hit the water and that he had ambient sound. Did they let that ambient sound in the slow-mo get distorted? Or how did they handle
It sounds
that?
to me like they blended it both. They blended the regular speed of the rocks and a little bit of the slow motion of the rocks.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if when you look at this one and this one here of this incredible woman who mixing slow motion and regular motion, and then there's some time lapse in here, and the sun comes up over the mountains in time lapse. It's just beautifully done, and there's nothing here that we can't do. Technically, there's nothing here we can't do. Now, next week, we're going to get into, next week, I believe, is color grading. We're really going to look at some different color grading on video, because no matter what you're using, you can color grade, even if you do it manually. And a lot of videographers do it manually. I expected it to be a big deal. It's not. We're all Photoshop users. We've done it before 100 times. It's called a histogram and levels. And you move your levels, and that video footage that looked kind of crappy coming out of your iPhone or your Samsung or your Rebel looks kind of flat and like bad video, all of a sudden looks really good. And then you just drag that thing that you just created on that line, that little color correction, you just drag it over the footage you want. And I'm like, oh, that's just too easy. That's crazy.
You did that in Premiere?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but the very first Lord of the Rings, they didn't have a way to color grade.
Yeah, they did each one.
Sections as that, so it was all done in Photoshop. Every frame.
Somebody had a career.
So I noticed on the budget here, this thing of Photoshop, $27 million. Yeah, we got some Pakistanis to do it for $4 an hour. I mean, how long did that take? And how many frames did they color grade that they just cut on the floor? Hey, remember that big color grading thing that you guys spent 4 months on? Yeah, we cut it out. We decided we're going to use it. Jeez. I don't get it. Anyway, everything you want to know about shooting video is in this one right here. Plus, what an incredible story.
What do you know what kind of photo editor she used for that? Can you tell?
For this,
Yeah, for hers.
well, she didn't do it. It's so
Somebody.
somebody did it for her. One of her sponsors. I think it's Premiere. I mean, I would imagine it's Premiere. The only other one I believe is that popular is what, Final Cut Pro. Is Final Cut Pro still made, right?
I'm not.
I wouldn't
I
have
think
a clue.
somebody uses it in the group, don't they? The guy in Alaska, doesn't he use that?
I thought no, he's using HitFilm.
Oh, HitFilm.
I thought at one point that Adobe was going to drop it. Was going to drop Final Cut Pro, but apparently it's still there. So those are the two that I know are the most popular, and then the third most popular and coming on strong is the one by Blackmagic. What's the one? It's free. It's not
really?
HitFilm Express. It's
Got me.
It's Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve.
Yep.
Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is coming on real strong. Lots and lots of editors are using that now. It's a super professional editor. But as far as I know, there's nothing in here that I saw that would have been After Effects. It's all pretty simple transitions and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I tried. Well, you find out by doing it. I tried to do McKinnon's approach to moving to using individual photos taken over time to move things and fast forward, but the software that I'm using doesn't have the capability to do the stuff that Premiere does on that particular thing. So I just had to slow it down or speed it up via the slow down or speed up component of the software.
Which one are you using?
It's called Shotcut. It's a free software.
Yeah, Shotcut. Yeah, that's a freeware. That's not like DaVinci Resolve. They give you the free version,
right?
But they're hoping that you like the free version enough that you buy the other version.
Well, Shotcut, there is no other version.
Right.
They only do it free.
So they'll probably have it at some point because I know they've been really working on that thing. Their goal is to get to a Premiere version, you know.
Whose?
Shotcut.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do use it.
Yeah,
and
their
you
goal
can
is
do
to
a
get
lot
to
with it.
They want to get to a point where they'll have it. You'll have it in your hands. You'll know how to use it, and then they'll release the Premiere version for $49 or $99 or whatever. It'll have all these other things in it. And you'll go, oh yeah, I'll grab it because you know how to use it already.
How do they make this happen with no charge? How do you do a software like that and continually develop it?
Hold on. Let's ask. Facebook? How much do you pay for Facebook?
I don't pay anything for Facebook.
Advertising.
Ads.
And how much is Facebook worth?
Too damn much.
More than I'm worth.
Something like $65 billion. Instagram is worth $50 billion.
Oh,
Twitter.
Facebook
Twitter's had what, 5 rounds of venture capital? I mean, they've put, I think, something like, I want to say $40 billion into Twitter. Twitter has never made a nickel.
Right.
Not one nickel. Someone recently floated the idea like, well, if it's not making any money, maybe we should shut it down. My thought was,
that'd be good.
What are you kidding? How's Twitter ever going to make a nickel? Not going to happen. The moment Twitter starts charging, people do something else because it's not that valuable to them. There's no value to it. Facebook, if Facebook charged 50 cents a month, they'd lose probably 20%, but they would make hundreds of $millions. I'd pay 50 cents a month for Facebook. Oh, and it's coming, folks.
All right, Don. Doggone it. Look at what you just did.
What?
You just gave that idiot an idea. He's going to be watching this video and he's going to say, "Damn, why didn't I think of that?"
Well, James, you're right. He is probably going to get the video from his buddies over at the NSA. Hey guys, how y'all doing? No, it's not, and of course Zuckerberg is making hundreds of $millions a month now.
Oh yeah.
Off something that costs us nothing because of ads and other things like that. But Twitter, when's the last time you saw a Twitter ad and clicked on it? Yeah. We don't want to get into a big media discussion, but I think a lot of the reason that the NFL's numbers are plummeting isn't necessarily because of the big kneeling thing. And I don't care about football, so I don't care if they kneel or not. I don't watch football. But I know that's been a big thing. The problem is that it's too easy to find something else to do. TV doesn't hold us anymore, and it certainly doesn't hold young people. My daughter went to a Cardinals game the other day, and she said, "Dad, there wasn't any young people around us. They were all 45, 50 years and older."
It's also expensive to go to football games. I mean, even a mediocre team like Arizona is like $100 for a ticket.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When a grocery store goes in across the street from another grocery store, they're both going to be open the same hours. And the reason is numbers have absolutely shown that if shopper who goes to A for 5 years goes to B once, they'll go to B again and again. And store A has a 50% chance of losing shopper to store B. So that's why they're head to head. Hours are head to head, right? What happened is back in the day, all you had was network TV. If you wanted to watch football or do something on Sunday, you had either go out and play football with your buddies or watch network TV. Today, you've got the internet, Roku, all of those other things, and that's changing. That's why what we're doing here is so important, because we are creating content that eventually, folks, will be up against the big guys. We'll be up against the NFL and baseball and whatever's on tonight on TV, that people will choose to watch YouTube rather than the TV is a given because it's already happening. And if we can start capturing eyeballs and help our clients capture eyeballs, our value goes up. Still, video, a mix, our value goes up. And now, all of a sudden, and it will be almost like all of a sudden, people who can create this content are going to skyrocket up, and network TV is going to be absolutely in trouble.
Well, YouTube
or commercial TV, where you have to sit and watch 8 minutes of TV and then 4 minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, YouTube's mushroomed and mushroomed and mushroomed from nothing.
My daughter watches YouTube. She doesn't watch TV.
Right. I mean, I do. That's what I do. Well, I did a video.
I don't watch TV either. I have not seen a network television show in years. I buy the NCIS off Amazon. I just prepay for it, so I don't have to watch commercials. It's the only network TV show I watch. So what were you say?
I did do a video it's on YouTube.
Yep. Joy, did you get yours up?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me reload the page here.
Your message where you said meeting in 50 minutes.
Okay. Here we go. We got Jay's video here. Code of the West. I thought we did. Just saw it.
Yeah, it's up there. It's not. it's not seven mountains in
There we
the of the world, but it was there was learning going on, and learning that didn't go on.
Good slow motion.
Pioneer Gunfighters Association here at Pioneer Village.
See,
We do weekly shows. Laser Wolf is his performance name, and I'm the Deacon.
what are you shooting this on, Jay?
My Fuji.
You're did you?
It sounded better on my computer. Sounds a
I'm
little.
sure. I'm sure it does. Yeah, because we're going back over the internet to you. It's probably tinny. This
Yeah, it is.
this is really unnerving at the beginning. It's like I don't know where your camera's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But what's happening also is that the camera is auto-adjusting for exposure. You got to
Sure.
turn that off. You have to set your exposure because watch what happens here.
We do weekly shows.
See, it starts changing exposure.
Yeah, it's erratic. So,
So
what should I do?
It's called exposure lock. It's on there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And then you just lock it down. See, and it's hunting and pecking for him. You've got to lock your focus too. I like how you get it really tight here.
Yeah, these were good people. He was a fireman at 9/11, by the way.
Is your camera autofocus or manual focus? So it's
Manual.
manual.
Yeah.
What you want to do is practice. Have you seen the little lock that goes on your lens with the little bar that comes out? So instead of putting your fingers around the lens this way, you have a little bar that you can do this with.
I'll look.
Yeah, they're real cheap. Just the little plastic things, but you can focus with your hands like this. With cinema cameras, they don't do this. They've got a lever that comes out, so they can move that lever and just kind of tweak it in here and there. One of the things that one of the things that that you have to practice is that focusing thing, and camera manufacturers really made it easy for us. Nikon goes this way for infinity, and Canon goes this way for infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super, isn't it? Yeah, who came up with that idea? But you just have to practice it. I've watched a sports photographer. He used to sit up on the overpass on the freeway, and I'd see him there. He was right down the street from my studio. I'd see him there 3 or 4 nights a week for a week or two. Finally, I stopped and I said, "David, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm practicing." Because football season opens, and he would, lock focus on a car coming at him, and then he would just keep that car in focus. He did it for like an hour a day for 5, 10, 12 days. I don't know. He was there for 2 weeks. He just practiced, and he did tail lights, and then he just practiced because the cars would come fast, they'd come slow, they'd whatever. And then he's out shooting ASU football, and those football players are tack sharp. It's not something that's going to take forever to learn, but we've got to get our eyes and our hands so that you're not even thinking about that focus. You're just locking it on.
So I should use an auto lock, an autofocus for this?
I wouldn't use, I don't like autofocus because autofocus does a lot of hunting and pecking like you saw there.
Yeah.
I like the manual focus on when I'm shooting my Canon. I use the manual focus. The Nikon has autofocus, but I've turned it off because it does a good job sort of, but when it misses at the wrong time, and all of a sudden it's just got it mush. Say, screw it, I'm just going to work it myself. And then I try to find a place where my subject is not coming towards me or away from me, but sideways in the film, in the screen. That way I can keep it pretty much at the same focus rather than having to pull focus as they're coming close to me and push it out as they're going away from me. That's a skill that I don't have that well yet. I'm all right at it, but I'm not that good at it. So when you're doing stuff like you just did, that live action stuff,
yeah.
What videographers do is they just shoot it at 16 and get everything in focus. I wouldn't do that.
16 frames is 16 frames.
No, F16.
Oh, shoot it at F16.
Yeah. They just shoot it at F16 and get everything in focus, or 22 or whatever. And I don't like that look. It looks like video.
Question for you,
Yeah.
Don. You're talking about focus, and sure, manual focus if you're shooting with a DSLR. How do you handle that focus issue with a phone camera? Because I've struggled with that.
The iPhone 6S has pretty darn good follow focus. I was shocked. In fact, the reason I bought the 6 was because they did a video of some guy in Iceland with his 6S, and he took a rock. He had a 5 and a 6S. He took the 5 and he focused on the rock in his hand and threw it in the water, and the 5 never did focus on the rock, right? With the 6S, he took the rock, threw it in the water, and the rock was sharp all the way to the water.
Really?
That's the reason I bought the 6 over the 5, because I usually skip a version, but that's how good it is. However, you can still, if you're getting in those situations where you've got people coming at you and back, it can really look funky. So I try to not shoot stuff that's coming at me or back, but going on a plane sideways.
So pick your scene.
Pick the scene. Plan the scene so you're not, we don't want to be at the mercy of people who are not involved in our film. And if that's what we do, and we say, when we let go of the creative control and let people, they're going to come at me and I'm just, I'm doing this thing. Hard not to do it when you're shooting something like Jay was shooting. That's hard. It's hard not to do that. But we have to do the best we can.
On the iPhone, the Filmic Pro app doesn't do follow focus as far as I know, but it does let you lock a focus point separately from an exposure point. So you can lock the focus so as you pan or anything like that, the focus distance stays the same. And so if you were staging something, you could have somebody move into focus or move out of focus and keep the focus locked at a certain place all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the 6S and the 7 Plus is that you can lock the focus. Once you lock the focus, people, if they back up, they're going to go out of focus.
Yeah.
And you can have people out, you can get them here, focus on them, lock the focus, have them step back, and then have them step into focus, which is a cool effect. But if you're doing it with an iPhone 5, it's just going to focus wherever they are. And it's going to hunt and peck for them until it gets them. Focus on video is probably one of the biggest challenges. That's for sure. Carol, which one do you want us to show here?
They're mine.
Here we go.
Started to say, of course they are. We know they are.
You're just waking up, no self-control. Marlo, I was thinking about the
What was that? I couldn't hear you over your blatant flaws.
Wow, don't even bother fixing your hair. You're not aging so well anyway. I've been having a hard time finding pants that I feel confident in lately. Well, makes sense. That's a whole lot of thigh. You're a big girl. All right, so I have put all the information together. I think we're ready to take the next step.
You know, actually, I did review your work and I just don't think you're smart enough.
Why bother using the stairs? You're going to sleep that anyway. Oh my gosh. Big, fat, white arms, white, big legs.
They're mine.
Who was that for?
We just were doing it wasn't for anybody. It was just just a piece on our inner shitty voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be a nice one to do for photographers.
It was awesome, Carol.
Thank you. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my whole life, because that's my daughter in it. And and it was really hard for Carly too, because she had to come up with, the stuff and actually say the stuff out loud and then do it in front of people for us to get people convinced to actually say things to her was extraordinarily difficult. Some people even cried. And then we did the thing. By the end of the day, I was so pissed off. And then I had to edit it, which took, like 8 hours or whatever, right? So you're just hearing this crap over and over and over again. It was brutal.
Wow.
Very good.
Right. Go viral.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Really strong.
Thank you.
Any way you think you could get the echo out of the audio?
I could look at it. I don't know if I noticed an echo, but I can. I'll go back and look.
Yeah, it's for me. It's kind of hard to understand. Like when she's in the hallway with the guy.
Right.
I don't know what she says.
Okay.
I've watched it a couple times. It's not. What microphone were you using for that?
I had the H6N.
Okay.
The Zoom.
Okay. What were you booming it, or was it on the camera?
No, it was boomed.
Boomed?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's an entirely concrete area.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Well, if you ever want to listen to a bunch of people have war stories about how a living hell their business, listen to them audio guys sometimes. Sit down with some audio guys, and man, they will just tell you about walking into rooms that are all concrete. And,
yeah, I can't imagine. Audio sucks.
And having to do dialogue of people across the room from each other, and it just goes whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, let's watch Joy's. Joy, do you want to set it up at all, or?
Yeah. So this is totally unfinished, by the way. Just I wanted to have something. So I'm still working on this, and just cut it off whenever you're done watching it. Like probably a minute or so. But this is a bunch of video that I grabbed from my trip to SEMA this year. So I was at SEMA all last week, and I caught video along the way, and at the event, GoPro and using my phone, and also some with pocket cinema camera.
Okay, so what do you think this? Right now you got 4.5 minutes. What do you think you're going to get it down to?
Oh, hopefully about 2 to 3 minutes, I
Okay.
think. Just I would just watch a minute or so. I'd just love to have your feedback on some of the stuff in the beginning. A little too much on the road.
So this is a car show?
It's an automotive. It's the biggest automotive industry show in the world. Happens in Vegas once a year.
Yeah, SEMA rocks.
It's
That's the new
basically
Kia.
isn't it for anybody that's into cars.
This is the new Kia.
Yeah.
You're right.
The Kia
They did
Soul
actually
Plus.
they had the Kia Stinger there. You can shut it off anytime now.
All right. Well, you've got some good footage here.
Yeah, I need to definitely clean it up, shorten it up a little bit, and do some voiceovers and. But yeah.
Yeah. And did you get any ambient sound? Remember, when the guy was peeling out and his tires were lit up?
Yeah.
Were you rolling audio on that?
No, that was slow motion. So
Okay.
There wasn't any audio from that, unfortunately.
See, that's where grabbing some audio clips, even if you're not going to use the video on it, getting some audio clips of engines revving up and stuff like that you can put underneath the music track and kind of feather it up in and back down, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Where do you stay when you go to Vegas?
I actually had a friend that lives out there. He's got a really nice house that he put us up. So
I've got a timeshare in Vegas, and I totally forgot about it this year. So looks like I'm going to lose my month, lose my weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. Bummer. Crowded out there too. Vegas is back, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Good. That's a lot of good footage there. And this is which camera?
So it was a combination of video mostly from my iPhone, but all the stuff in the car was from a GoPro. Yeah, but most of it was just on my iPhone.
Which GoPro?
The 5.
Okay. Anybody now? Does anyone else have something?
Yes, Don, I do. It's up at the beginning at the top where you said 50 minutes to class.
Uh-huh.
And if you click on the view to comments.
Here we go. Here we go. Sandra Hemming.
This was from the week before when we were doing time lapse and slow-mo.
Okay. Cool. Good. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. You put some stills in there.
Yep.
This one right here, I
Yes.
think it went on a little too long for
Right.
me. But I love these right here. I just was waiting for a hand. This would be really fun since you've already set it up with stills, right?
Yep.
Golly darn it. Stop. Jeez, I hate that. So you've already set it up with stills. So then you come in with this and it looks like a still, and then to have a hand reach in and grab the book or the coffee cup would be like a setup and a hit. Because we've seen the stills. This looks like a still, but then it's not.
Something like a cinematograph, like Carol does, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, or just when you set it up like this, just have somebody, it's set up like a still, have somebody reach in with their hand and take the coffee cup out. Boom, nothing moved. The camera's not moving, the background's not moving, nothing, just the cup. Yeah. And what did you shoot this on?
That was the 6D.
Yeah, you've got some really nice depth of field thing. This was really cool. It's time lapse?
Yes.
And you did that on the 6D?
Yes, I did with a 100mm lens.
Makes good video, doesn't it?
Yep.
And if it had a swing out lens, I think it'd be a swing out back. I think it'd be perfect. But
So,
don't worry now. The 6D2 does have the swing out back, so just go buy one of those.
does it have 2 slots?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think the 6D line is ever going to have 2 slots.
Okay. Well, the other video I did was for this week,
And
and it's there too.
there too?
Yeah.
That's this
Right
one right
there.
here?
Yes, it is.
All right.
important to me and to my husband and my son. And, we try to go for walks and hikes as much as possible. And I see such art, and I'm captivated with my camera or captivated with words and inspiration. And I take my favorite paintbrush and wipe it off a little bit and just pick my color choices. If the water looks too wet, then I will dab it off a little bit with the napkin. And I just start with a color and softly, and I just see how the colors blend in with the water. And I just love how the colors move and blend together. So soft, like little whispers. And I love to paint outside because I just find nature just inspires me. I see art in nature, and when I'm out in the open like this, I kind of forget about everything. Forget about the housework that needs to be done, or things that have to be done at home. So I just enjoy doing this either at the park or the beach, and as you can see, the beads of water are making the colors.
Cool.
It looks a lot worse than when I'm playing it on my computer. I get
Oh,
a lot of
it's gonna
bouncy.
look. It's coming to me through YouTube, and then going back to you through. So it's reading it off my desktop with the software, the Zoom software. So these don't look like what you're seeing. Doesn't really look like what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
It's going to be degraded quite a bit.
All right.
Who's that handsome guy? Couple of things. When your audio, like this audio, and then it goes into her. What we need to do, and what software are you using, Sandra?
Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro. Okay, what you want to do is called gain, G-A-I-N, audio gain. You want to go in and raise the gain on her, which is like bringing the whole volume thing up. It's like curves in Photoshop.
Okay.
We're just going to lift the volume of her up. We shouldn't. There's a possibility of picking up hiss and stuff, but we shouldn't pick up too much if you only come up a little bit, because your music is, number one, I think it's too loud to begin with, and then when it drops off, don't drop it off to nothing. Drop it off to very faintly behind her.
I tried very hard to do that with those little points, and I don't know. I couldn't get it.
Couldn't get it? Was she drowned out by it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's too low. When you pull her gain up, you should be able to move her up above that audio track.
Right.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
Okay. Thank
she's
you.
so faint here. See how quiet that is?
Yep.
So there's a lot of decibels between that audio and her. We're going to lower this audio down just a little bit, like half a stop, just a little bit, and then we're going to take her gain up about 50%. Just bring it right up. Are you using a microphone on your phone?
It's a DSLR. It's a Rebel, and then I have a Rode mic on it.
Okay. Is it a directional mic, a shotgun?
Yes.
Okay. On your camera, and you're going to have to YouTube this to find exactly how to do it on your Rebel. On your camera, you have a gain control. And it sounds to me like your gain control is at 0.
Right. I've seen that setting somewhere.
So, are you listening to the audio through headsets?
No.
You've got to grab your phone earbuds, and you should be able to stick it into the back of the microphone or the side of the microphone or something. You should be able to have those earbuds in and hear what your mic's doing.
Okay.
And then,
I know with this. Sorry.
And then use your gain control to pull it up. It sounds like your gain's at 0, so it's absolutely flat and not reaching out far enough.
Okay. Check that out.
Yep.
Thank you
That'll
so
help
much.
you tremendously.
Thank you very much with that.
And you can only go so far, Sandra. So you do a test, and then you play it back, and you have everybody be quiet. You play it back to see if you've got the gain turned up so loud that you're going to start picking up hiss or the camera itself, that type of thing. But I think you should be able to go up about halfway very easily.
Alrighty.
Cool. Very good. Are you having fun with it, guys?
Yeah.
Even James sounds like he's having fun with it, and he's not really even doing it.
Nope. I've been shooting clips, shooting some B-roll. We've got a project going in town. It's actually not my project. It's a company project, but they're doing some restoration work on an old historical thing. And so I've been going over there every other day or so and doing some B-roll of the progress as they're going along and shooting the different guys up on the scaffolding and so on and so forth. And my intent is to get some A-roll with about 3 of the different guys, not the workers that are involved in the project, but the guy that's running it for our company, and the guy from the city of Chico who's involved in it, and then maybe somebody from the Hysterical Society, and put together a clip of that with the A roll and the B roll. So I have been working on some stuff. I just haven't been. I haven't put anything together for the class, so I haven't been totally idle, just totally derelict.
Well, I know you've been shooting a lot.
So I didn't shoot for a long time, and I was getting away from that, and I just had to get back in the studio and do something and do some shooting. So if I don't, I get rusty.
Watch out, James, for the Forbidden Cliffs of Death.
And those would be?
Those would be when you get your book, where your book is. Because like I said to you at the end of the portfolio class, you're ready to go. I cannot tell you how many people I know who get to that point, and all of a sudden it's like some steam comes out of the umbrella or the balloon. You know?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because now it's put up or shut up, right?
Well, see, now I know what I got to do right now is I've got to get out and get some clients, and I know there's a few things I need to do on my website. I need to do a little bit more work on there, but you know, you can always find an excuse to not move forward, and I don't want to do that.
No, I don't want you to either.
What I was doing was,
and I've seen it so many times. It's like the floating balloon of death. I'm ready to go, and now I can't get moving. It's all of a sudden there was always that wind at your back when you're building the book and you're getting to the point, and then you get to the point you go, oh gosh, I'm kind of ready, and then it's like the sails just flop, because now is that moment of truth. And I don't think you're going to have as much pushback as I think you might have. I mean, I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, but I'm saying it's time to break through that barrier.
Time to get out there. You're right. I know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Anyone else? Anybody? All right. Any questions on? Yeah.
I was at some people in town did a 3-day resort workshop that was sort of a trial run, and it went to 3 different resorts, one each day, and I did basically stills, and it was good experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
But there were people doing video, and they used a device, and I can't remember the name of it. I knew about it yesterday, but they're different. It's got 2 parts of it. One of the thing you hold, and then there's another thing that comes in and it sort of like connects to it. But you can also connect a phone holding device to it as well. And they sell it at Best Buy. It's Mimeo or something like that. And it apparently worked pretty well for them. They're pretty pleased with it. But there are 2 different versions, and the one with the actual camera is about $800, but the least expensive version is without the camera, which you can use your phone for, is about $300. But it's actually got more features from what he said.
What does it do?
It functions as a gimbal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, and I've seen that. There is. In fact, I was looking at it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be like a Kickstarter type thing.
Gizmo or something like that.
But it had a built-in 4K camera on a gimbal.
Oh,
So
are you talking about the Osmo?
That's it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Osmo is DJI.
Yeah.
DJI's answer to GoPro. It's a stick with a gimbal at the top, little gimbal, and it's got their little DJI camera in it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, those are pretty nice. They're really pretty nice. I think they're about $500 or something like that.
Well, it depends on which components you have, but the basic component that you put a phone on was $395.
Right.
Actually,
And
DJI
that-
Osmo Pro Mobile is what it's called, and I have one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I think they're on sale right now for about at $250.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're pretty good. In fact, they're real good. They take a little bit of getting used
You
to.
got to learn it. Yeah.
Yep. But
And it's 3-axis too, right?
yes, 3-axis. It's really easy to balance the phone. But you got to have just a kind of a regular size phone. A lot of the plus size phones won't work in it because they won't balance. So you got to make sure you have a phone that'll work with it. And there's an app. It's a free app that goes with it. And you can also use it just with your camera, or it'll work with Filmic Pro. Because I have Filmic Pro too. So it's worth the investment. If you're going to get it, spend the extra $12 and get the little stand that they offer that it sits in. It's worth it. It's a little bit different charging system because the battery's in there, and you plug your charger into what looks like a microphone port. It's USB to looks like a microphone jack plug-in, but it's really what they use for a charger. But it's I think it's a good investment. It's going to be what I'm going to be using to shoot all of my videos on, and if you learn how to use it right, you can actually even do some pretty cool moves with it. I'm in the process of learning it. That's a lot of what I've been doing, is trying to learn that, and it's part of why I haven't really posted any videos, is because I haven't had any footage that I thought was worth a crap.
Jerry has the one with the camera in it, the little bitty camera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool, but remember that little bitty camera is very wide angle. It's like a GoPro.
Yeah.
It's like a, ultra wide angle. So when you get in close to people's faces and stuff, they distort and all that kind of stuff. But it's 4K,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's a great little system. Yeah, those are great.
The people there are two people. They had the two versions. Two different people. One had one version, one had the other version, but they were pretty pleased with it. And I was impressed that they were. So
I've seen the footage off those things, and I've been impressed as hell.
Okay. Oh, I guess the question is it worth? Do you think it's worth staying with the shot cutter, or shifting over to something like Resolve? Or does it matter?
Do you have Premiere?
No.
Okay,
I mean, Premiere would be $29 a month. I didn't find
my advice, honestly, Jay, would be yes. I would go to DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
Because number one, it's software, lives on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, it's a great program. Number three, Premiere used to sell for $1,500. The full version of DaVinci Resolve's $900. So if you like it, you can buy it, and you don't have to rent it. There's no fees. As far as the professionalism of it, it is absolutely a super top of the line. If you buy the full version, top of the line photo editor. Yes, lots of movies are being cut on DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, well, I will explore it. I'm getting a little more sophisticated around this stuff, but there's still a lot of big gaps. So,
well, believe me when I tell you that anybody doing this is still would say the same thing. I don't care what level they are. I think it's just like still photography. You're never going to stop learning, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Always going to be something else to learn. So.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep at it, guys. All right, so any questions about next week?
I'll tell you next week.
Coolio. All right, see you then.
Have a good week.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Talk to you later.
son.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.